Before we start, we're going to show you two simple questions. Try to answer them in the next 15 seconds. Ready? Okay, here it is. Time's up. If you said 5 minutes and 47 days, good job. But if you didn't, don't worry, you're in good company. In fact, 83% of the participants got at least one question wrong. As you can see, our brain's intuition can be fooled by even the simplest arithmetic question, the answer of which seems so obvious once you give it a second thought. And the problem lies in what is arguably humans' favorite way of thinking. Our team is called Kulupu, and we are here to tell you about the flaws of heuristics and how to persuade others by using them.
Simply put, heuristics are mental shortcuts. Imagine, for example, having to measure the amount of water to boil every time you make ramen. Well, instead of doing that, your brain takes a shortcut. It remembers the countless times we have filled the pot with water for ramen and determines the amount of water that will be roughly enough for a good result. Sure, it wouldn't be exactly 550 milliliters, the ideal amount according to the packet, but your brain decides the difference in taste would be so small that a rough estimate would be good enough. That is the essence of heuristics, good enough. In so many situations where the exact ideal amount is not necessary, heuristics shine through and make our lives easier. However, more often than not, there's a pretty significant margin between experience and reality. As our brain refuses to spend its cognitive power and chooses to rely on already existing experience and thoughts, complicated variables that form reality are often neglected, resulting in a bias. And our thoughts and decisions are greatly influenced by these biases without us even realizing. With all of that in mind, let's talk about how this relates to persuading others.
Heuristics cause biases that influence decisions, and the goal in persuasion is to change other people's decisions. Thus, the key to persuading is changing other people's minds. So we would like to share a method that we made up. We call it the 3R: recallable, relatable, and resolute. The first R stands for recallable. Make your message memorable and easy to recall. This will trigger the availability heuristic, the idea that whatever springs to the listener's mind first must be true. They end up subconsciously considering your proposal more believable. The second R is relatable. Frame your message with something that feels close to your audience. This uses the representative heuristic. People use their own experience a lot when determining the probability of something happening. Making your argument closer to their experience would make it more likely to be true. The final R stands for resolute. Effortfully tell the audience that your message matters. This is how you can ensure your audience remains consciously invested in your ideas, which is essential for changing their minds at any capacity.
A prime example of the 3R in real life is candidate speech during election period. Let's say that you are a school president candidate. Well, how would you form your speech to attract as many voters as possible? First of all, you might want to start your speech with something instantly memorable. You might cite a phrase that's popular these days, or even sing a segment of a catchy song. And then, as you explain your election promises, you could mention a problem or inconvenience that most students would have experienced, with a sympathetic and understanding tone to truly touch their hearts. And finally, with a strong and earnest tone, you would promise to the audience to work as hard as you can for the school and emphasize how suitable you are for the job. This is exactly how recallable, relatable, and resolute all come together to form a potent speech of persuasion. And for another example, we're curious if you've noticed that we've been using 3R in this very presentation all along. We've made our persuasion strategy into an acronym and have constantly mentioned it to really engrave it in your memory. We have mentioned a few everyday examples that could be relatable to you. And finally, as for resolutes.
So, why does it matter? Why are we trying to tell you how to persuade others? Persuasion is a daily part of our lives. We persuade friends, family, and colleagues in countless ways. Understanding and improving our persuasion skills can get you a raise, make you class president, and even allow you to have your favorite menu when hanging out with friends. Now that you have listened to our presentation, you can use the power of heuristics. Let's harness this power and use it for positive changes. Thank you.